Hey everyone, so this is continuing with the equation of a circle, but today we're going to be graphing just for review, and then we're going to be writing the equation of a circle. Alright, so pause the video, and this is what we did on Monday's lesson, so pause it and try this on your own. Alright, so I have my center. So for the center, you're supposed to look for the parentheses, but there are no parentheses. So this is 0, 0 as my center. We're just going around the origin. And remember, your radius is the square root of the number that's by itself. The square root of 25 is 5. So I'm going to go to 0, 0 as my center, my origin. From there, we go right 5, up 5, left 5, and down 5. So those are all 5 units away. And then I draw a nice curve and I make a nice pretty circle. All right, number 2, my center. This one has parentheses, so remember we're going to change the sign. So if I have positive 3, that becomes a negative 3. I have negative 5, that becomes positive 5. And my radius, we take the square root of 4. You always take the square root of the number by itself. So I'm going to plot negative 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from the center, we're going to count 2 in each direction. So 2 to the right, back to my origin, to my center, 2 up, back to my center, 2 left, back to my center, 2 down. And then I draw a nice little curve, not a square, right? Make it curvy. Doesn't have to be beautiful, but it needs to look like a curve. All right, again, pause the video, 2 more, and then we're going to move on to writing the equation. All right, so I have my center, and I have my radius. I don't have the same radius as last time. All right, so the center this time, positive 4 becomes negative 4. There's no parentheses with the y, so it's 0, right? Imagine that's like y minus 0 squared. Y minus 0 is just y. And then my radius is the square root of 4 again. The square root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to plot my center, negative 4, 0, and I'm going to go 2 in every direction. 2 to the right, 2 up, 2 left, and 2 down. And we're always counting from the center because we have the distance from the center out is always the same. Oh, that's a little ugly. All right, there we go. Close enough. All right, last one. Do this one in green. Center, radius. All right, so for the radius, it's the square root of 1. The square root of 1 is just 1. This time there's no parentheses with x, so the x value is 0. And my y value, instead of minus 5, it comes positive 5. So my center is 0, 5, so I'm going to go up to 5, put a dot. And from that point, I'm going to go 1 in every direction. Up 1, left 1, down 1. So it's a really little circle. That's it. All right, so now that we've done that, what we're going to do for the rest of the lesson is we're going backwards. If I give you this, I want you to be able to write that. So that is what's going to happen in the rest of the problem. So remember that the center of the circle is HK. The radius is R. So when I go backwards, when I see this, okay, that's really ugly. When I see this, I'm going to do x minus whatever the x value is squared, y minus whatever the k value is squared equals whatever r squared. So we always have the x minus squared, y minus squared equals. So our formula, the equation of our circle, will always look like this. We just have to fill in the center, HK, and then we have to square whatever our radius is. All right, so I'm going to start by doing, so x minus h squared y minus k squared equals r squared. So I'm going to start by doing x, y equals. So I'm going to fill in what goes inside. So my x value is 5, so I'm going to put minus 5. For the y is minus 2. Remember, we changed the sign, so that becomes plus 2. Equals my radius squared. We're going to take our 3. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. And that's it, we're done. Let's do one more together. So I'm going to start with x squared, y squared equals. So we're going to change the sign of my x. It's minus 4. Minus 4 becomes plus 4. Now the reason, remember, it's x minus negative 4. What happens when you have a double negative? It becomes a big plus. That's why that looks like a not equal. And that's why that happens. It's really x minus negative 4. Right? Minus negative 4. All right. And then the y minus the 1 equals the radius squared. R squared is 64. All right, pause the video and try 7 on your own. So I'm going to do x minus squared, y minus squared equals. So this is minus 2. I'm going to change it. That becomes a plus 2. Minus 11, change the sign, becomes plus 11. Equals 1 squared. 1 times 1 is 1. All right, I want you to pause the video, see if you can do number 8 on your own. So this one's a little weird because of the 0. Right. So I'm going to start like I did before. X squared, y quantity squared equals. So my x, I have a 0, so I'm going to make it minus 0. That 8 becomes minus 8. But what's x minus 0 equal to? Anything minus 0 is itself. So this is really just x squared. Y minus 8 squared equals, and then we have to square our radius. 2 squared equals 4. So try this again. Try number 9 and number 10 on your own. Pause the video. All right, so I have x squared, y minus squared equals. So my x this time is negative 6, so that changes sign, becomes positive 6. We have a 0 for the y, and then r squared, 7 squared is 49. And then just like below, it's weird to leave it like that, so we're going to make it x plus 6 squared plus anything minus y minus 0 is just y. So I'm going to get rid of those parentheses, y squared equals 49. All right, last one, 10, it's super straightforward. It's not really, it's hard to change these and make them harder than this. All right, so start off with that. That's what I always start with. I kind of have it memorized. And then I'm going to fill in my x minus 5. We have to change that sign, right? A minus negative 1 becomes a plus 1. And then 11 squared. 11 squared is 121. And we are finished. All right, now the last two are a little trickier because we have we have the picture. So we need to actually figure out, okay, what is my center? And what is my radius? So we're just going to look. What is this point? Well, that point is negative 1, 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, comma 3. So I'm just looking at the picture. And then what's the radius? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so the radius is 4. Now that I figured that out, I'm just going to do exactly what I did before. X minus quantity squared, y minus quantity squared equals. So my x value is negative 1, so that becomes plus 1. My y value is 3, so y minus 3. And then 4 squared, right? 4 times 4 is 16. Oh, I turned my pen off. 16, and we're done. All right, last one. Pause the video and try it on your own. So I have my point. Let's see. It's 4, comma, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 4, negative 8. And then my radius is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like that's 7. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So my radius is 7. So x minus plus y minus squared equals. All right. X minus 4. Y minus negative 8. The minus 8 becomes a plus 8. And then 7 squared. 7 squared is 49. And that's the lesson. That is writing the equation of a circle. All right, so today's assignment is number 98. Again, more practice. We'll do a Google Meet tomorrow. Friday, you're going to just do a review of Monday's lesson and today's lesson. Have a fabulous day. Email me if you have questions.